The season final of Starship Lower Decks Season 2 gave us a look at a 2380s version of the iconic Excelsior-class, but it's not actually an Excelsior-class, instead being an Obena-class starship. Today we're going to dive in and explore the features on this brand new ship. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host Captain Jack, and let's get right into it. As always, before we do jump into the meat and bit of this video, if you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. Now, it's obvious to Trekkies the Obena-class starship is based on the ever so iconic Excelsior-class starship, seen many times in the Star Trek universe, so let's explore the past in order to break down this new ship. The Excelsior-class starship was a class of starship used by Starfleet, launched in the 2280s, and now, as of Star Trek Lower Decks, has lasted well into the year of the 2380s, though with some modifications. The last time we actually saw the Excelsior-class on screen was during the Dominion War, when numerous Excelsior-class starships took part in the war on the front lines, seeing action during Operation Return, the first and second battles of Nijatoka, and the Battle of Cardassia. The ships would serve as instrumental frontline cruisers and support starships. The Excelsior-class vessels during its battles looked remarkably similar to those seen nearly a century prior, with any refits not changing the exterior appearance. However, as of 2381, when the second season of Lower Decks takes place, we see an updated Excelsior design. We can assume that after the Dominion War and numerous casualties to the Starfleet, the ships will get outfitted with new technology common in ships of that era, such as the Sovereign class. However, even though this looks like an Excelsior class, it's not a refit but an entirely new class of Starfleet ship. Thanks to Lower Decks showrunner Mike McMahan, the ship class is known as the Obena-class, and we're told the Excelsior is still in service, but the Obena is larger and has some other changes. Let's take a look at its exterior and what those changes are. The Obena-class has a slightly different source section, with a lower sensor and navigation platform smaller in size, as well as more pronounced phaser strips along the ventral section of the saucer. There are braces at either side of a saucer, with their function is unknown. The bridge section of the dorsal side of a saucer is much more pronounced and isolated in the center. This connects to a structure leading from the center of the saucer to the rear, where it connects to two impulse engines, similar to the Excelsior class. It is, however, missing the additional impulse engines on the hull sported by the Enterprise B variant of the Excelsior class. Now, the underside of the saucer section also features a Starfleet Delta for good measure, because why not? The iconic ribbed neck of the Excelsior class has also changed, with it being perfectly vertical on the Excelsior design, but now featuring a curve to it, giving it a Galaxy class feel to the neck of a ship. Whether the neck of the Obena class features the upper four torpedo bays, which also allow for ship access, is not known, with them not appearing on the shots we see, though this could be due to detail. The secondary hull of the Obena is remarkably different though similar in shape. The secondary hull looks more like that of the current Sovereign class, with a deflector dish which is yellow in colour, as well as a dome with deflector dish insets. If this is the same style of deflector as the Sovereign class, then the deflector's particle emitter should be able to manually detach from the rest of the deflector dish. It's especially handy when a Borg are trying to assemble an interplexing beacon on top of it. If you guess the reference we just made, good on you. The size of the deflector dish are two protrusions, which function is also unknown, possibly taking the place of the torpedo bays which are missing from the neck section. The design still has a ventral section cargo bay on its secondary hull, but the ventral aft of the secondary hull also features a large cargo bay. Atop the secondary hull and behind the neck of the vessel is a large dome-like structure, which connects to the struts of the nacelles. In the original design, this structure was smaller in size. The nacelles are angled and curved in the new design instead of the L shape they previously were. Speaking about the nacelles in more detail, the following elements of a Sovereign-class ship make it into the refit. They are the nacelles, which are also Sovereign-class in design, aka the Enterprise E. The Sovereign-class nacelles has multiple pairs of warp coils, and could achieve warp factor 8, with a maximum warp factor being between 9.7 and warp 9.995, depending on the source of your information. Now, the bridge of the Obena-class is the same design of the Excelsior bridge seen on the USS Excelsior, whilst under the command of Captain Hiraki Sulu, featuring a single central captain's chair, two fore consoles, with only a master systems display behind the captain's chair on the wall, instead of a command console. The only difference with the bridge is its colour, which is Titan in style of soft brown-like colours. One of the shuttle bays of the Archimedes was similar in design to that of the California class, and Parliament class shuttle bays of the time. Large bay doors leading from the shuttle bay to the rest of the starship, with a ship name above them. The only shuttle we see in the shuttle bay of the Archimedes is the Type 6A shuttle. The nacelles of the Type 6A vary to the ones on the Archimedes are the same as found on the Cerritos. The only named shuttle we see in the shuttle bay is the Adonis, which is a Greek god of beauty and desire. Following the name of the ship, the shuttle of the Archimedes are probably all named after Greek gods or Greek intellects. Let's talk about some Starfleet lore. The only ship we know in the Obena-class line of starships is the USS Archimedes, named after the notable Greek inventor, Archimedes, and was captained by Captain Sonya Gomez. The very same Sonya Gomez was an ensign aboard the Enterprise D during the incident the Q entity sent the Enterprise to meet up with the yet unknown Borg. The USS Archimedes was assigned a mission of first contact with the Sapiens, with assistance from a California-class USS Cerritos. Unfortunately, the Archimedes was disabled when it hit a magnetic ionized plasma, which overloaded the ship's systems and sent the Archimedes on a collision course with the planet it was meant to make first contact with. First impressions and all, not very good. Now, the Archimedes was saved from crashing into the Lazapian planet by quick thinking of a USS Cerritos crew, who managed to safely navigate through the cloud of magnetic ionized plasma and track to beam the falling ship. It's likely that there is a USS B and a Starship out there somewhere in the galaxy, as Starship classes always have a ship named after them, such as the USS Galaxy and USS Excelsior. Not much is known about the ship behind the scenes, but with the ship class having such an interest in the Obena, we believe that the ship is named after the art director of Lower Decks, Nolan Obena. In terms of design aesthetic, it appears the ship could be considered a partial kitbash between the Excelsior-class and the Sovereign-class. I do find it ironic that at the end of Season 1, Captain Freeman comments on not wanting the Cerritos to be all Sovereign-like, and at the end of Season 2, with an Excelsior-class all Sovereign-like.
Sovereign-class.
Ironic in a way, and I wonder if that's done intentionally. And we're at the end of our video. That was a brand new Obena-class Starship model. What do you think of these new Starfleet ships we see in Star Trek Lower Decks? Share your thoughts with us down below in the comment section. Because like always, if you're talking about Star Trek, then we want to hear about it. If you want to keep up to date on all related Star Trek news, lore, and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.